Good morning. Today's talk is going to be a strange one. Well, not really, but the gift of disharmony. Yeah, the gift of disharmony. Why do I say gift? Because what I've learned in life is that unless disharmony comes to your life, you're inclined to sort of sit there in a bit of ego, a bit of ignorance, thinking, oh, life is great, life is wonderful. But there's no growth in that for you. You know what I'm saying? There's no real depth, no real understanding. So when disharmony visits you in the form of any form that is disharmonious to you, that's an opportunity to, one, settle yourself back into harmony as quick as you can, obviously. Two, check that the harmony in your life is real, and that it's lasting and can be tapped on at will. And there's the big one: tapped at will. Because the thing about it is, the very time we need to be harmonious is the time when you're not. So disharmony, as I say, in the form of real life understanding is and comes from this. When you're there and generally, your life is good, you're generally just doing your thing, nobody's bothering you, nobody's hassling you, there's not much going on. As I say, that's great and that's a nice time, nice rest, whatever. But life, happiness is a space between two sadnesses, and sadness is a space between two happinesses. So what that basically means is that, no matter how happy you are right now, that might leave and change and turn into something else. And your task, of course, is to allow, not to try to control that, not to hold on to the happiness, but to allow. So, I've gone through some really interesting experiences of nonsense, as I like to call it, where people who probably have nothing better to do in their life go on and they look at a video like this and then they want to make criticism about it, or, about me, or about the teachings or whatever. And these are all valid. I don't, that's their gig. It's a pity, I've often said, it's a pity that they don't have something else in their life that is more positive rather than, criticism. I call it, that moment where you bring somebody to, say, the Sistine Chapel in Italy, and they look up at the ceiling, and they go, oh, look at that crack. Like here you have the most amazing, incredible art, and their consciousness will go to the crack. And that is a giveaway, because the one thing you notice about people when they're sort of bringing you into this arena is that their life can be sad, that lonely. And so, any attention is better than no attention at all. And you have to be careful of that, because, you'd be amazed how many people out there will do and say anything just to get attention. And it's like, whoa, that's a dodgy place to be in, that's an interesting place. And, what happens then is they become obsessed then, and they start to use most of their energy criticizing instead of living harmonious lives. So as I say, a good time to test your own teachings is when disharmony has come to visit. And notice I say visit, because nothing is permanent. The only thing that's permanent is consciousness. Consciousness you were born with, consciousness you will die with. Yes, die with. And it'll continue on to whatever next energetic experience you're ready to have. So, when you're, as I say, having these situations in your life where there is things to work out. You have to make your decision. Like, one of the decisions that I made that absolutely, turned out to be one of the most important decisions I made was blocking people who would send me outrageous emails. So I just blocked them, and that's it. And they can send them what they like. They just go into some sort of ether folder somewhere. I don't even get to really read them. And good luck to them and have a nice life. And that's the thing. I actually finally learned not to give these people time, not to give them attention, because that's what they were doing. So when their disharmony comes to visit me, what I do is I sort of, send it back as love and go, you know what, I'm not going to communicate with you. I'm not going to do that. And all I've ever done is wished people well in their lives. Like literally just said, hey, people, life is short. Get on with your life. Don't be criticizing, other people. Look at your own stuff. Deal with your own stuff. And if you need to go and do that on a deeper level, i.e. go to visit a doctor or whatever, well then go and do so. And don't be ashamed of the fact that you might need some medical attention, some medication to help you to balance your emotions or whatever it is, because again, I know that people are absolutely terrified when it comes to medication. But hey, the teaching I teach is see the medication as God, see the medication as miraculous, see the person who's given it to you as miraculous, see everything as miraculous, and then what is there to fear? And you might get to a stage where you won't need that medication anymore, and that will be fine. But then again, you might always need that medication. It might be more than a traumatic experience that's causing it. It might actually be a chemical imbalance. And so, it's a conflict, isn't it? And the gift of the conflict is sooner or later, you have to go and deal with it. And that's an important point. Dealing with conflict. It's like, I remember my own teacher explaining to me one time about, when people are having a go off you, accusing you of stuff or whatever it is, just don't give them any attention. Just ignore them. And, 9 times out of 10, they'll go away. And the ones that will hang in there are basically giving you an insight into their mental well-being. And, their mental well-being may be not good. And the way they do things may not be good. But again, all we can do is wish them well on their journey, because unless they're willing to get the help they need, that's it. But as I say, when that conflict comes to you or you're involved, you have to deal with it in whatever way you deem is best for yourself and all concerned. So, as I say, we now live in a world where privacy is like very difficult to keep, especially with social media. You can be literally sitting having dinner now and people will be taking photographs and you end up on social media even though you never wanted to, and then people are able to know, oh look, this person hangs out here or had dinner there or whatever it is. And that's the new world. That's the new world we live in. And again, as I say, instead of moaning about that, do something about it. Do something about it. It's no good constantly going, oh, it's the other person. It's you can do something about it. You can take control of your own life. You can take, as I say, a conflict and turn it into a gift, but you have to sit with it. You have to meditate with it. You have to look and see what aspects of it, are in there. And, one thing about spiritual communities, which always sort of fascinates me, is they're always looking for a reason, a message in the event. Well, sometimes there's not a message. Sometimes a branch falling off a tree and hitting you on the head is just a branch falling off a tree and hitting you on the head. You don't have to go any deeper than that, because that happens in nature all the time. So it's when it repeats itself. In other words, if I was walking through this forest and a branch fell off and hit me in the head, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd probably laugh. But if I was walking through and another branch hit me in the head, now I'd start to take note. And I have a rule that says when something visits you 3 times, and this is an important part, when something visits you 3 times, then is the time to look for what is the message. Do you understand? Like 3 times, not just a random event, a random nothing. Just, it has to keep visiting you. It's a bit like, people in relationships, and they're constantly drawing people who are negative into their lives. And when I say relationship, I mean all types of relationships, not just marriages or engagements or whatever. Relationships in general. Like, what type of person are you spending time with? What satsang are you having? Who are you hanging out with? Because the one thing that definitely shows up is if you hang around with negative people, you become negative. If you hang around with positive people, you become positive. If you hang around with successful people, you become successful. So who are you spending your time with? That's another important aspect. So my message, as I say, for you today is nice and simple, and yet profound in its own right. Okay? And here it is. I'm looking right at you now. Okay? You are in control of your own destiny. Yes. You can take control of that which you can take control of. Don't try to control stuff that's outside of your control. Like, you can't make somebody like you. It's just not possible. You can't make somebody think you're a nice person if they don't want to think you're a nice person. Once somebody gets something into their head, a lot of the times it's very difficult for them to change their minds. But that's their issue, not yours. You shouldn't take this on as your issue. You should just, as I say, wish them well, say, have a nice life, and you be fully and completely who you are. Okay? Let the sun go into those deep, dark places that we all have within us. It's okay. It's okay to be spiritual and even a healer and not have dealt with all your own stuff. Absolutely, it's okay, because that's part of your journey. The wanting to help other people is really good, but of course, if you are continuing to help yourself. If you're not, if you have stopped helping yourself and you're just continuing helping others, I'm telling you now, conflict will visit you far more often. So, as the saying goes, life is about its ups and downs. The downs can be enjoyed just as much as the ups. And the middle path is boring. But just above the middle path and just below the middle path, that is the fun zone. So, today, make a choice. Go, have fun, deal with a conflict in your life, and just eliminate it. Say goodbye and fly. Thanks. See you all again soon. Again, if you have any subjects that you'd like me to talk about, I'm available on bewellclinic@yahoo.com. BWELLCLINIC@yahoo.com. God bless. Have a great day